Krishna, accept my obeisances, all glories to Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gnanam Gna Shalakaya Chakshuzanmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Satpitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamam Dadati Swapadandikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapada Kamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavam Cha Shri Rupam Shakajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Shadvitam Shavadhutam Parijanam Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitam Shyam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchna Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sutta Devi Pranamami Hare Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubheva Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. So we will chant this verse today. If you are there online, you please take note. It is on 6:11, Bhagavad Gita. Suchau dese pratistapya stiram asanam atmanaha nati uchritam nati nicham chailajina kushotaram tatraikagraham manaha kritva yata chitendriya kriyaha upavishyasane yunjyat yogamatma vishuddhaye. Suchau, in a sanctified place, they say land, pratistapya, placing, stiram, firm, asanam, seat, atmanaha, is own, na, not, atitu, uchritam, high, na, no, atitu, nicham, low, chaila, ajina, of soft cloth and deer skin, kusa and kusa grass, uttaram, covering, tatra thereupon, eka agram, with one attention, manaha, mind, kritva, making, yata chita, controlling the mind, indriya, senses, kriya, with the activities, upavishya, sitting, asane, on the seat, yunjat, should execute, yogam, yoga, practice, atma, the heart, vishuddhaye, for clarifying. Translation: to practice yoga, one should go to the kusa grass. One should go to the kusa grass. One should go to a secluded place and should lay kusa grass on the ground and then cover it with a deer skin and soft cloth. The seat should be neither too high nor too low and should be situated in sacred place. The yogi should then sit on it very firmly and practice yoga to purify the heart by controlling his mind, senses and activities and fixing the mind on one point. Purport by His Divine Grace, Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Sacred place refers to places of pilgrimage. In India, the yogis, the transcendentalists or the devotees all leave home and reside in sacred places such as Prayag, Mathura, Vrindavan, Rishikesh and Haridwar. And in solitude, practice yoga where the sacred rivers like the Yamuna and the Ganges flow. But often this is not possible, especially for Westerners. The so-called yoga societies in big cities may be successful in earning material benefit, but they are not at all suitable for actual practice of yoga. One who is not self-controlled and whose mind is not undisturbed cannot practice meditation. Therefore, in the Brihat Naradya Puranam, it is said that in Kali Yuga, the present Yuga or age, where people in general are short-lived, slow in spiritual realization and always disturbed by various anxieties, the best means of spiritual realization is chanting the holy name of the Lord. Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama eva kevalam kalau nasteva, nasteva, nasteva gatiranyataha. In this age of quarrel and hypocrisy, the only means of deliverance is chanting the holy name of the Lord. There is no other way, there is no other way. There is no other way. So back again to the verse. To practice yoga, one should go to a secluded place and should lay kusa grass on the ground and then cover it with a deer skin and soft cloth. The seat should neither be too high nor too low and should be situated in a sacred place. The yogi should then sit on it very firmly and practice yoga to purify the heart by controlling his mind, senses, and activities and fixing the mind on one point. So this is a very nice verse that Krishna has highlighted on how to do yoga. So in the purport, Prabhupada is stressing about chanting the holy name of the Lord. The chanting of the holy name of the Lord is the easiest method in Kali Yuga for attaining or quickly making spiritual advancement. Because in Kali Yuga, no other method is very sublime other than chanting Krishna's name. That is, explained. You can see, we can go down again to the purport there. You can see there in RD 1721 on this verse, you can see, in this age of Kali, there is no other means for self-realization than chanting the holy name, chanting the holy name, chanting the holy name of Lord Hari. In this age of Kali, the holy name of the Lord, the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, is the incarnation of Lord Krishna. Simply by chanting the holy name, one associates with the Lord directly. Anyone who does this is certainly delivered. You see how this is spoken, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, simply by chanting Krishna's name, one is delivered. See that? It's so potent. This verse repeats 3 times the word eva, certainly 3 times of emphasis, and it's also 3 times repeats Harinam, the holy name of the Lord, just to make common people understand. To emphasize something to an ordinary person, one may repeat it 3 times, just as one might say, you must do this, and you must do this. Thus the Brahaнарадhya Purana repeatedly emphasized the chanting of the holy name so that people may take it seriously and thus free themselves from the clutches of Maya. It is our practical experience, the Krishna conscious movement all over the world, that many millions of people are actually coming to the spiritual stage of life simply by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra regularly according to the prescribed principle. Therefore, our request to all our students that they daily chant at least 16 rounds of this Hare Krishna Mahamantra offenselessly following the regulated principle. Thus, their success will be assured without a doubt. The use of the word kevala only prohibits all other process such as cultivation of knowledge, practice of mystic yoga, or performance of austerity and fruitive activities. So you see here the word kevala, he prohibits this practice of mystic yoga, performance of austerity and fruitive activities. Purport. Our Krishna conscious movement stresses the chanting the Hare Krishna mantra only. Whereas those who do not know the secret of success of this age of Kali unnecessarily indulge in cultivation of knowledge, the practice of mystic yoga, or the performance of fruitive activity, or useless austerity. They are simply wasting their time and misleading their followers. When we point this out very plainly to an audience, members of the opposing groups become angry at us. But according to the injunction of the Shastra, we cannot make compromise with the so-called Jnanis, Yogis, Karmis and Tapasvis. When they say they are as good as we are, we must say that only we are good and they are not good. This is not our obstinacy, it is injunction of the Shastra. We must not deviate from this injunction of the Shastra. This is confirmed in the next verse of the Chaitanya Charitamrita. This verse clearly states that anyone who accepts any other path cannot be delivered. This is the reason for the triple repetition. Nothing else, and nothing else, which emphasizes the real process of self-realization. To chant the holy name of the Lord, always one should be humbler than the grass in the street and devoid all desire of personal honor, but one should offer all others all respectful obeisances. Okay, these are the conditions of chanting. So the point is this, very important to note that the chanting of Krishna's name is so powerful, it will deliver anyone. Whereas if you take all this karma kanda position, or you try to take the speculative process, or you try to go into mystic yoga and all these other things, it will not work. Because it is in Kali Yuga, the prescribed method is chanting. So if anyone tries all these other methods, this is not, would say, beneficial. In fact, you are told very strictly to abandon this karma kanda portion. Karma kanda means trying to do, Krishna consciousness, with working and thinking that I can work and offer my result and this way go back. You know, you can see here in this verse, I just point out to you. In this verse, you can read, one who has fixed me within his mind as the goal of life should give up activities based on sense gratification and should instead execute work governed by the regulative principle for advancement. You see, we should in fact follow the regulative principle for advancement, the sadhana bhakti, which is like waking up in the morning, mangala arati, chanting our round. This is all given by Srila Prabhupada. When, however, one is fully engaged in searching out the ultimate truth of soul, one should not accept the scriptural injunction governing fruitive activities. You see? So the karma kanda thing, when we say fruitive activity, means karma kanda principle should be rejected. We cannot try to use karma kanda thing and make spiritual advancement. So many people think that no, I will just do my sadhana by becoming involved. Of course, chanting, if you are chanting, then it's all right. That's the main thing. Even you are going to work and getting into a lot of things, and if you chant, yeah, that's a saving grace. But still then, to strengthen ourselves, we should definitely try to associate with devotees who are strictly practicing these principles. Then we will also develop that sense of detachment. That's why it is advised for devotees who are staying all alone by what's his name, Narada Muni was advising, you know, Yudhishthira, who asked this question. Maharaj Yudhishthira inquired from Narada Muni, O my Lord, O great sage, kindly explain how we are staying at home without knowledge of the goal of life may also easily attain liberation according to the instruction of the Vedas. So here it's explained, the next verse Narada Muni is giving his viewpoint. He says here, Narada Muni replied, my dear king, those who stay at home as householders uh, must act to earn their livelihood. It's a fact. Everyone who is staying at home, they must work hard. They must, go get some money. Uh, that is one of the important things for householder. Uh, and they must, instead of trying to enjoy the result of their work themselves, they should offer the result to Krishna Vasudeva. That is what also in the Bhagavad Gita Krishna said, no? Yad karosi, yad asnasi, whatever you do that as an offering towards me. Yes? How to satisfy Vasudeva in this life can be perfectly understood through the association of great devotees of the Lord. So this is the meaning of it, that we should try to associate with devotees, especially great devotees like Srila Prabhupada, who has given us the method. He's given us the method of how to do this worship. I'm just kind of look for one verse. Give me a minute. It's 7:15. So I just want to show you again this point. Before I go there, Let me show you another verse after this. The format for Grahastha life should be a dedication to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In the Bhagavad Gita 6.1 it says, Anasritaha karma palam karyam karma karoti yaha sa sannyasi cha yogi cha na niraknina chakriyaha. One who is unattached to the fruits of his work and who accepts as is obligated is in the renounced order of life, and is the true mystic, not he who lights no fire and performs no work. Whether one acts as a brahmachari, grahastha, vanaprastha or sannyasi, must act only for the satisfaction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudeva, Krishna, the son of Vasudeva. This should be the principle for everyone's life. Narada Muni has already described the principle of life for brahmachari, vanaprastha and sannyasi, and now he is describing how a grahastha should live. The basic principle is to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The science of satisfying the Supreme Lord can be learned as described here. Shakchat Upashita Mahamunim. The word Mahamuni refers to great saintly person or devotees. Saintly persons are generally known as munis or thoughtful philosophers concerned with transcendental subject matters, and Mahamuni refer to those who have not only thoroughly studied the goal of life but who are actually engaged in satisfying the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudeva. These persons are known as devotees. Unless one associates with devotees, one cannot learn the science of Vasudeva Arpanam, or dedicating one's life to Vasudeva, Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In India, the principles of the science were followed strictly. Even 50 years ago, I saw that in the villages of Bengal and the suburbs of Calcutta, people engaged in hearing Srimad Bhagavatam daily when all their activities ended, or at least in the evening before going to bed, everyone would hear the Bhagavatam. Bhagavad class were held in every village, and thus people had the advantage of hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, which describe everything about the aim of life, liberation or salvation. This will be clearly explained in the next verses. Now this is an important point that Narada Muni is making. A grahastha should associate again and again with saintly person, and with great respect he must hear the nectar of the activities of Supreme Lord and his incarnation, as these activities are described in the Srimad Bhagavatam and other Puranas. Thus one should gradually become detached from the affection of his wife and children, exactly like a man awakening from a dream. The Krishna conscious movement has been established to give grahasthas all over the world an opportunity to hear Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita specifically. The process, as described many ways, is one of the hearing and chanting. Sunvata Swakata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtanam. Everyone, especially the grahasthas who are Muddha deep, ignorant about the goal of life, should be given opportunities to hear about Krishna. Simply by hearing, by attending lectures in different centers of the Krishna conscious movement, the topics of Krishna from Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam discussed, they will be purified of their sinful inclinations for constant indulgence in illicit sex, meat eating, intoxication, and gambling, which have all become prominent in modern days. Thus, they can be raised to the status of light. Punya Shravana Kirtana, simply by joining the Sankirtan, joining the Kirtan, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And by hearing about Krishna from Bhagavad Gita, one must be purified, especially if he also takes prasadam. This is all going on the Krishna conscious movement. Another specific description here is Sunvan Bhagavato Bhikchanam Avatara Katamritam. It is not that because one has once finished Bhagavad Gita, he should not hear it again. The word Bhikchanam is very important. We should hear again and again. There is no question of stopping. Even if one has read this topic many times, he should go on reading again and again, because Bhagavad Gita, the words spoken by Krishna and spoken by Krishna's devotee about Krishna, Amritam, nectar. The more one drinks this Amrita, the more he advances in his eternal life. The human form of life is meant for liberation, but unfortunately, due to the influence of Kali Yuga, every day the Grahasthas are working hard like asses. Early in the morning they rise and travel even 100 miles away to earn bread. Especially in the Western countries, I have seen that people awaken at 5 o'clock to go to office and factories to earn their livelihood. People in Calcutta and Bombay also do this every day. They work very hard in the office or factory, and again they spend 3 or 4 hours in transportation returning home. Then they retire at 10 o'clock and again rise early in the morning to go to the offices and factory. This kind of hard work is described in Shastra as the life of pigs and stool eaters. Nayam deho deha bhajam nirloke kasta kamana arti vidbhujam ye. Of all the living entities who have accepted material bodies in this world, one who has been awarded this human form should not work hard day and night simply for self-gratification, which is available even for dogs and hogs that eat stool. One must find some time for hearing Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. This is the Vedic culture. One should work 8 hours at the most to earn his livelihood, and either in the afternoon or in the evening, a householder should associate with devotees to hear about the incarnation of Krishna and his activities, and thus be gradually liberated from the clutches of Maya. However, instead of finding time to hear about Krishna, the householders, after working hard in offices and factories, find time to go to a restaurant or a club where instead of hearing about Krishna and his activities, they are very much pleased to hear about the political activities of demons and non-devotees and to enjoy sex, wine, women, and meat in this way waste their time. This is not Grahastha life but demonic life. Krishna conscious movement, however, with its centers all over the world, gives such fallen and condemned person an opportunity to hear about Krishna. In a dream, we form a society of friendship and love, and when we awaken, we see that it has ceased to exist. Similarly, one's gross society, family, and love are also a dream, and this dream will be over as soon as one dies. Therefore, whether one is dreaming in a subtle way or gross way, these dreams are all false and temporary. One's real business is to understand the one, his soul, Aham Brahmasmi, and that his activities should therefore be different. Then one can be happy. Brahma Bhuta Prasanatma na shochate na kanchati. Samaha sarveshu bhuteshu mat bhakti labate param. One who is transcendently situated at once realizes the Supreme Brahman and becomes fully joyful. He never laments nor desires to have anything. He is equally disposed toward all living entities. In that state he attains pure devotional service unto me. One who is engaged in devotional service can very easily be liberated from the dream of materialistic life. So you see, this is the point that many of us are caught. And nowadays I notice myself, everyone is into the Facebook, and in the Facebook they may read a little bit of Prabhupada and just always cutting some word and pasting, and some they think this is very far out work. And actually they don't spend time actually reading totally. This cut and paste, thinking they are, all of them are very attentively doing this all over the Facebook. I say this is phenomenal. But how many of them are really putting time to read the whole chapter or read the whole, I don't see that happening. So because they're not putting time or giving time to really hear, therefore they're not making very good advancement. The test can be seen. Now what is the test? And the test is that if I am attracted to Maya, more than that means something is not right in my, sadhana. You see, if I am overcome by the mode of passion, that's why it is explained here in this verse, that how I know my mind is driving into the mode of passion direction, and that is clearly seen here in this verse. This is the point. It says here, Drishtva striyam deva mayam tad bhave atendriyaha pralabhoit patatyande tamasi atnau patangavat. One who has failed to control his senses, immediately feels attraction upon seeing a woman's form, which is created by the illusory energy of the Supreme Lord. Indeed, when the woman speaks very enticing words, smiles coquettishly, and moves her body sensuously, his mind is immediately captured, and thus he falls blindly into the darkness of materialism. Just as the moth maddened by the fire rushes blindly into its flame. So you can see how this is the test. Every day someone is out there and their mind is always been engaged in sense objects. And when his mind is, relishing the pleasure of, looking at the woman, and that means, he is already materially contaminated. And in the mode of passion and ignorance, one cannot really chant Krishna's name. Because Krishna's name, of course, is so powerful, we can chant at any time. But when one is in the mode of passion, he will be driven with a lot of passionate motives. which is very, very what we say, the nature of the mind, it is explained as the mind, is automatically attracted to this thing. The natural proclivity, it says, my dear son, the mind has a natural proclivity to enter into material sense object. And similarly, the sense object enter into the mind. But both this material mind and sense object are merely destinations that cover the spirit soul, who is part and parcel of me. So this is natural, the attraction is there. That's why we have to have a very strict, program to chant. The chanting is so powerful, it has to be done in the association of devotees. Then the effect is felt. See? In fact, the householder to chant, that is, it is a very great, what we say, the process of chanting the holy name of the Lord is so powerful that by the chanting, even householders can very easily gain the ultimate result achieved by a person in the renounced order. You understand this point? So the chanting is overly stressed, and that also in the association in devotees is so important. This point. Why? Because if we do not do that, then you see here, then our mind, if we get, into the Maya, it gets into this mode. Supreme Personality of Godhead said, my dear Uddhava, a person bereft of intelligence first falsely identifies himself with the material body and mind. And when such false knowledge arises within one's consciousness, material passion, the cause of great suffering, pervades the mind, which by nature is situated in goodness, and the mind contaminated by passion becomes absorbed in making and changing many plans for material advancement. Thus, by constantly thinking of the modes of material nature, a foolish person is afflicted with unbearable material desires. See this point? Then what happens? It is explained in the next verse. One who does not control the material senses comes under the control of material desires and is thus bewildered by the strong waves of mode of passion. Such a person executes material activities although clearly seeing that the result will be future unhappiness. You see this point? So therefore, the chanting, to get it really, you have to associate with the devotees, especially, coming to the temple and chanting with the devotees is of prime importance. That is stressed also here in this verse. Because certain things you cannot do at home. Certain things are, difficult to do. Of course, you have to do at home. We are not saying don't do. But one should also learn how to associate with the devotees of the Lord by gathering with them to chant the glories of the Lord. This process is most purifying. As thus devotees develop their loving friendship, they feel mutual happiness and satisfaction, and by thus encouraging one another, they are able to give up material sense gratification, which is the cause of all suffering. So this is how we should understand, without actually, associating with the, brahmacharis, with the vanaprasthas, with the sannyasis, then our association is simply with the same kind, with the householders. As we are explaining to one person just now, then our consciousness will only be in that level, So to get purified, that's why it is stressed that you have to go to associate in the Sangha where Prabhupada has created the society. And in this way you can make so much good advancement. The devotees of the Lord constantly discuss glories of the personality of Godhead among themselves. Thus they constantly remember the Lord and remind one another of His qualities and pastime. In this way, by their devotion to principle of Bhakti Yoga, the devotees please the personality of Godhead, took away from them everything inauspicious, been purified by all impediments, the devotee awakened to pure love of God, and thus even within this world, the spiritualized body exhibits symptoms of transcendental ecstasy, such as standing of the bodily hairs on him. So you see how this process is so purifying. Of course, you may always say a million reasons. That's how Maya works. The moment you get into this Maya, then Maya has got two things. He will try to capture you and he will try to throw you off course. That's Maya's tendency. Not only that, if you are with Maya day in, day out, hours, you're associating with people who are not devotees, then there's a natural tendency for the mind to be strongly influenced by the modes. That's why this strong sadhana is very much emphasized. If you go with the Maya, then, you will develop all the bad qualities of the Maya. You know, Many times we have explained this point. Many times we have explained this point. You can see here, the illusory material nature attracts the minute living entity to embrace her. That I already explained. There's a natural proclivity of the mind. And as a result, he assumes forms composed of qualities. Subsequently, he loses all his spiritual qualities and must undergo repeated deaths. So if we go on the mode of passion and you simply carry on in that line, then the repeated death is guaranteed. And not only that, he loses all his spiritual qualities also. Sometimes devotees think that, okay, I've done some spiritual program. I think next life I will continue from where I stopped, But that's not going to be a fact if I carry on doing so many nonsense, and then thinking that I'll be safe. This is like trying to chant Hare Krishna and doing sinful activities. It's not going to help us. So therefore, we have to, take it a little seriously. Now, why this chanting is so important? I'll try to explain this point. I was trying to. You can see this verse. This verse in here. In this verse, Sri Bhagavan Vacha, Sa esa jivo vihara prasutihi pranena gosena guham pravistaha manomayam sukshma upetya rupam matra swaro varnamiti svavistaya. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, my dear Uddhava, the Supreme Lord gives life to every living entity, living being, and is situated within the heart along with the life air and primal sound vibration. The Lord can be perceived in a subtle form within the heart by one's mind. And since the Lord controls the minds of everyone, even great demigod like Lord Shiva, the Supreme Lord also assumes the gross form as the various sound of the Vedas, composed of short and long vowels and consonants of different intonations. Now this is a very interesting subject, Very interesting subject. You follow this point. Why? Firstly, you see here, the Lord says that the Supreme Lord is giving life to every living being and is situated in the heart along with life air and primal sound vibration. The Lord can be perceived in a subtle form within the heart by one's mind. You see this point? That's why Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Man Mana Bhava Mad Bhakta, you think of me, always worship me. In the 8th chapter also, do your duty, but same time you think of me. For one who always thinking of me, I am the swift deliverer from the cycle of birth and death. So that mind has to be focused on Krishna. In other words, the mind can think of Krishna. Or better still, the mind should think of Krishna. You understand this point? It is not something alien, just like a child. Walking is a natural proclivity of the child. It will walk because that is inbuilt in the child's body to walk, not to crawl all life. That's not the position of the. Like some animals, they can only walk on 4 legs. That's not the case with the human being. So they have this tendency inbuilt, the potency to walk. So similarly, the mind has a natural potency to be serving Krishna. The mind has a natural attraction towards serving Krishna or capturing Krishna. That is possible. So how it is done? It says here, the mind, since the mind is, the Lord controls the minds of everyone, even the great demigod of Lord Shiva. So the moment the mind we show some desire to join or serve the Lord, then the Lord helps because the Lord is controlling everybody's mind. You see, even great demigods like Lord Shiva, who is greatest. So you see the point. In other words, if we desire to bring our mind to Krishna, Krishna will help us. As there's a common saying, if you take one step, the Lord takes 9 steps. So that is actually a fact. It is not that we are going to do something impossible. No, as many people say, firstly they don't know who is God, that's the problem. But if you know who is God and you understand, then it's very easy because you got the holy name. Now why and how the mind can be captured and say, the Supreme Lord assume a gross form as various sound. It's another thing the Lord is saying. So in other words, the sound vibration is also the Lord, as we know. Nama Chintamani Krishna Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha. This explain. Suddho Purno Nitya Mukto Nama Abhinatvam Nama Namino Abhinatum non-different. That means the sound of the Lord and the Lord are non-different. Here it also says the Lord assumed the gross form as the various sounds of the Vedas. The Hare Krishna is coming from the Vedas. So when you hear this sound, what happens? Because you are actually connecting to God Himself. That's why it's explained here. You see the next verse, it says, when sticks of kindling wood are rigidly rubbed together, heat is produced by contact with air, and a spark of fire appears. Once the fire is kindled, ghee is added, and fire blazes. Similarly, I become manifest in the sound vibration of the Vedas. You follow this point? In other words, you can capture the Lord by bringing the mind to Krishna, and at the same time, you can trap the mind by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. The moment you chant the sound vibration, which is non-different from the Lord, immediately will purify the mind. And when the mind becomes purified, then the mind will be easily attracted to, remembering the Lord. That's why the first thing is hearing, Shravanam, and then Kirtanam, and then the next thing is remembering, Smaranam. See? So when we do it properly, the function, the working senses, the organ of speech, the hand, the leg, the genital and anus, and the function of knowledge acquiring senses, the nose, tongue, eyes, ears, skin, and ears, along with the functions of the subtle sense of mind, intelligence, consciousness, follicle, as well as the function of subtle pradhana and the interaction of the three modes of material. All these should be understood as my materially manifest form. Understand, all this thing is materially manifest form of Krishna. That's why Krishna also said in the Bhagavad Gita, Bhumi, Apo, Analo, Vayu, they all are my separated energies. You understand? Everything is there. So it's not that you're trying to do something of worse. Worse is because we are not bringing to Krishna, we are actually trying to go and enjoy it with the mode of passion. And that's where all the problem starts. When many seeds are placed in an agricultural field, innumerable manifestations of trees, bushes, vegetables, and so on will rise from a single source, the soil. Similarly, the Supreme Personality of Godhead gives life to all and is eternally, originally exists beyond the scope of cosmic manifestation. In course of time, however, the Lord, who is the resting place of the three modes of nature and the source of universal lotus flower in which the cosmic manifestation takes place, divides his material potency and thus appears to be manifest in innumerable form, although he is one. So to get on to the Lord, this is the process. We need to connect. We need to connect through understanding that the Lord is there in our heart, and the mind can be brought to be, thinking of Him, and that is easily done by chanting the Mahamantra, where the ears are hearing. So in this way, immediately the living entity can come out of its many, many problems that is, going through. You understand this point? So our whole idea is that this sound vibration that we are doing now, chanting Krishna's name, is not a speculation. That's the point I'm trying to make. We are not trying to, we are trying to we are trying to solve this problem by following a very bona fide process, because you can actually get in touch with the Lord. As the Lord also says, it says also here in the Bhagavad Gita, is also explaining the same point. In 9:2, you can see here in this verse, it says here, Raja Vidya Raja Guhyam Pavitramidam Uttamam Pratyachagavagham. You see the word Pratyachagavagamam. Dharmyam susukam kartam avyayam. What is this pratyaksha? This word pratyaksha is translated by direct experience. You can see the word is direct experience. What is direct experience? That's the point. When you start chanting, you are connecting with the Lord directly. That is called direct experience. It's not that it's indirect or something like that. No. That's why the Rupa Goswami writes in the Nectar devotion, when someone takes up this process, the devotional service of chanting, the first thing is that he becomes happy and his problems are, going away. The two things happen. He immediately becomes satisfied and happy, and he finds that the material nature is relaxing control on him. The two things happen. And that's why Krishna says, one who has surrendered to me, he can overcome my Maya in 7:14. Devi esa guna maya mama maya kurutyaya mam eva prapadyante taya maya metam tarantite. You can cross over my Maya by only surrendering to me. So this process is so powerful. That's why it has been stressed. By chanting Hare Krishna, you will have the sound vibration. Immediately you get connected to Krishna, and then your mind, when it gets connected to Krishna, then Maya doesn't put all the problems onto us, and we become relieved and we become very happy. As is also explained, the same thing. You see, this verse is translated here. You can see this knowledge is the king of education, the most secret of all secret, is the purest knowledge, and because it gives direct perception of the self by realization, is perfection of religion. It is everlasting and is joyfully performed. You see, it gives direct perception of the self by realization. It is not some theoretical knowledge. It is realization. You will realize, just like when you eat food, you realize that you are no more hungry. You are happy. You are nourished. That's realization. It is not some speculation. It is perfection of religion. It is everlasting and is joyfully performed. So you see, all these things are fact. Not that God is utopian, nobody knows, no, when we die, maybe we will. These all are some very ambiguous statements. Krishna can be perceived. How he can be perceived? He can perceive, he's sitting in the heart, and he's not anywhere else, he's in our heart. So how to connect? That is the secret you have to learn, and that you can only learn from a pure devotee. And that Prabhupada is teaching, that you start chanting Hare Krishna. When you start chanting Hare Krishna, you immediately connect your mind to Krishna, and in this way you become purified. The more you become purified, the more you will come to the point of actually seeing the Lord. That's why it's also explained the Brahma Samhita in that famous verse, Premanjana. It is what? Five what? Five. You can see here in this verse, Premanjana churita bhakti vilochanena santah sadaiva hridayeshu vilokayanti yam sama sundaram achinta gunaswarupam govindamadi purusham aham bhajami. I worship Govinda, primeval Lord, who is Sam Sundara. Krishna himself with inconceivable, innumerable attributes, whom the pure devotee sees in their heart of heart with the eye of devotion, think with the salve of love. So this is not what we say a speculation. Chanting Hare Krishna is not an imagination. Chanting Hare Krishna is not, we concoct. No, it is a direct process in which we can get connected to Krishna through and through. And we will be able to actually perceive the Lord within our heart. As Krishna says here, the devotees see. They see in their heart of heart with the eye of devotion, think the salve of love. So we are not, imagining, we are not manakalpana. This is not the thing. It is a very genuine process. That's why Yudhishthira Maharaj said, if this process, even householders who are entrapped in this, program, they are entrapped in this program. You can see here, Narada, see the verse. Dharma te griha mediyo varnitah papanasanah grahasto yena padavim anjasa nyasim yet. The process of chanting the holy name of the Lord is so powerful that by this chanting even householders, grahastas, can very easily attain the ultimate result, achieved by person in the renounced order. Maharaj Yudhishthira, I have now explained to you that process of religion. Purport. This is confirmation of the Krishna conscious movement. Anyone who takes part in this movement, regardless of what he is, can attain the topmost result achieved by a perfect sannyasi, namely Brahma Jnana, spiritual knowledge. Even more importantly, he can advance in devotional service. Maharaj Yudhishthira thought that because he was a grahastha, there was no hope of his being liberated. Therefore, he asked Narada Muni how he could get out of material entanglement. Narada Muni, citing a practical example of his own life, established that by associating with devotees and chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, any man in any condition of life can achieve the highest perfection without a doubt. So I think I have covered this point extensively to convince you that how this Hare Krishna mantra is a sure way of getting success. It is a nothing investment except for a dumb man who cannot chant. Anyone else can chant this mantra. It is so easy to do anywhere, any place. And if you have no faith in anything else, but at least you will have faith in this holy name, and if you understand that it is non-different from Krishna, then you are actually making very good advancement. That realization must come, that I am chanting Hare Krishna, and when I say Krishna's name, I am with Krishna. That should be there. That's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also understood this point about this same thing. You can see here in this verse. In the CC, it says here, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu replied, whoever chants the holy name of Krishna just once is worshipable and is a topmost human being. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, a person who simply chants the holy name of Krishna once becomes perfect and should be regarded as a Vaishnava. This is confirmed by Srila Rupa Goswami in Upadesha Amruta. Krishneti Yashagiritam Manase Driyita. With such faith in the holy name, one may begin a life of Krishna consciousness. But an ordinary person cannot chant the holy name of Krishna with such faith. One should accept the holy name of Krishna to be identical with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, transcendent himself. As the Padma says, the holy name of Krishna is identical with Krishna and is like Chintamani gem, a touchstone. That name is Krishna personified in sound and is therefore perfectly transcendental and eternally liberated from material contamination. Thus one should understand that Krishna and Krishna himself are identical. Having such faith, one must continue to chant the holy name. When one is situated on the neophyte platform, one cannot understand the devotional ingredients of a pure, unalloyed devotee. However, when the novice engages in devotional service, especially in the deity worship, and follows the order of a bona fide spiritual master, he is a pure devotee. Anyone can take advantage of hearing about Krishna consciousness from such a devotee and thus gradually become purified. In other words, any devotee who believes that the holy name of the Lord is identical with the Lord is a pure devotee. Even though he may be in the neophyte stage, by his association, others may also become Vaishnavas. One is known as a materialistic devotee if he simply worships the deity of Hare with faith but does not show proper respect to the devotees and to others. This is stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam 11.247. Acharyam e Hare pujam yah sadaye hate natad bhakteshu chanyeshu sa bhaktah prakartah smrtah. Yet even by associating with such a neophyte devotee, one can become a devotee also. When Lord Chaitanya was teaching Sanatana Goswami, he said, Sadavan janahaya bhakti adhikari uttama madhya kanista sada anusari yahara komala sadaha she kanista jana Krame krame teno bhakta ye abe uttama. Rati prema taratam ye bhakta taratama. A person who has attained firm faith is a real candidate for advancing in Krishna consciousness. According to the faith, there are first class, second class, and neophyte devotees. One who has preliminary faith is called a Kanishta Adhikari or a neophyte. The neophyte, however, can become an advanced devotee if he strictly follows the regulated principles set down by the spiritual master. Therefore, it is on the basis of faith and attachment to Krishna that one can judge who is Madhyamadhikari or an Uttamadhikari. It is thus concluded that even a neophyte devotee is superior to the karmis and jnanis because he has full faith in chanting the holy name of the Lord. A karmi or a jnani, regardless of his greatness, has no faith in Lord Vishnu, his holy name, or his devotional service. One may be advanced religiously, but if he is not trained in devotional service, he has very little credit on transcendental platform. Even a neophyte devotee engaged in deity worship in accordance with the regulations set forth by the spiritual master is in a position superior to that of the fruity worker and speculative philosopher. This is the verse that I wanted to show. Simply by chanting the holy name of the Lord, simply by chanting the holy name of Krishna once, a person is relieved from all the reaction of sinful life. One can complete the 9 processes of devotional service simply by chanting the holy name. At that point here, the 9 types of devotional service as mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam 5.7.5.23, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, Achanam, Vandanam, Dashyam, Sakyam, Atma Nivedanam, Iti Pumsarpita Vishnu Bhakti Shen Navalakshana, Kriyate Bhagavati Tanmanye Ditam Uttamam. The process of devotional service entails hearing, chanting and remembering the holy name, form, pastime, qualities and entourage of the Lord. Offering service according to the time, place and performer, worshipping the deity, offering prayers, eternal, always considering oneself the eternal servant of Krishna, making friends with him and dedicating everything unto him. These 9 items of devotional service, when directly offered to Krishna, constitute the highest attainment of life. This is the Vedic of the revealed scripture. As for being freed from all sinful reaction by chanting the holy name of Krishna once only, one must chant the holy name without committing any offenses. Then chanting one name is sufficient to rescue a living being from all sinful reaction. Such a person who chants the holy name of the Lord offenselessly is very important and worshipful. Indeed, the 9 devotional processes, beginning with Shravanam and Kirtanam, can all be attained at once if one simply chants the holy name offenselessly. In this regard, Srila Jiva Goswami stated in Bhakti Sandarpa, Yadyapi anye bhaktihi kalao kartavya tada kirtan akya bhakti samyoganaiva. Out of the 9 processes of devotional service, kirtan is very important. Srila Jiva Goswami therefore instructs that the other processes, archana, vandana, dasya and sakya should be executed, but they must be preceded and followed by kirtan, the chanting of the holy name. We therefore introduced this system in all our centers. Archana, Arti, Bhoga, offering, deity dressing, decoration, all preceded and followed by the chanting of the holy name of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So I'm going to stop here. I hope I made my point. If you have any questions, you can raise them now. Then I can try to, answer them if there's any.